All right, let's dive into something a little different today. We're going to explore the short, beautiful allegory. It's a story all about a kind of vision that has nothing to do with your eyes and everything to do with your soul. So, let's get started. So the story kicks off with this really poetic description. It says her eyes are blue like a lake in silence and deep like the sky before the storm. I mean, wow. It just paints this picture of incredible beauty and death, right? But there's a catch. That beauty is hiding a pretty fascinating secret. And here it is, the big twist right at the beginning. Those perfect, beautiful eyes, they couldn't see. And we're not talking about a medical condition here. This is something much, much deeper, an inability to see the world as it really is. So that leads us to this whole idea of a beautiful blindness. You know, her eyes were open, they were technically working, but everything she saw was just blurry, distorted. The story hints that the problem wasn't with her eyes at all, but with something invisible that was covering them. And that invisible something has a name, the invisible blindfold. Now, obviously, it's not a real piece of cloth. It's a metaphor, right? A barrier that's stitched together from all these different things, like fears, the rules society puts on us, and even the stories other people tell us about ourselves. Okay, so what exactly is this blindfold made of? Let's take a closer look at the actual threads holding it together. And what's interesting is, they aren't just vague anxieties. Nope, they're specific, concrete rules and commands she was taught, things designed to keep her from seeing too much, to keep her in her place.
Here's the first thread, and it's a big one. She was told girls shouldn't see too much. Think about that. It's a rule that's directly tied to who she is. It's not just saying, hey, don't be nosy. It's saying that for her, seeing things deeply is just wrong, inappropriate. It's a rule meant to stop her from ever really examining her world.
And then there's a second thread, which is basically a full-on assault on her gut feelings, on her intuition. The message was, seeing the invisible is madness. So anytime she had a hunch or a deep insight about something you can't, physically point to, she was taught that was crazy. She learned to completely shut down her own inner wisdom. And this is the final set of stitches holding that whole blindfold together. It's basically a three-part command for conformity. Stay quiet, stay normal, stay the same. It's like this constant chant designed to make sure she never questions anything, never dares to be different, and definitely never changes. So you might think she's stuck like this forever, right? Her whole world is just permanently blurry. But then, something happens. And it's not this big, loud, dramatic event. It's something quiet, subtle, and way more powerful, an angel's touch. The story is really clear about what this was like. It wasn't a sound, it wasn't even a vision in the normal sense. It was a presence, a feeling. It's described as a being made of deep blue light, and get this, as gentle as a hug that understands everything. So this wasn't some scary, shocking thing. It was this deep, powerful moment of recognition. And you know what's amazing? The thing that starts this whole transformation is so incredibly simple. There's no big fight, no complicated magic spell. The angel just touched her eyes. That's it. One single, gentle action. And just like that, the blindfold that had kept her in the dark for so long, it started to come apart. That one simple touch sets off this huge chain reaction inside her. It's called the Great Unveiling. The threads of that blindfold just give way. And for the very first time, she starts to see the truth that was there all along, hiding in plain sight. So, how does this awakening happen? It's laid out in 4 really powerful steps. First, she saw the lies they told her. Then she saw the guilt that was never even hers to carry. After that, she saw the fear that stitched the blindfold together in the first place. And then, the last and most important thing, she saw herself. So, what did she find when she finally looked? What was her true self like? The story gives us 3 amazing words. Radiant, just full of light. Free, no longer weighed down by that blindfold. And blue within, which is so cool because it connects back to her eyes and to the angel, showing this deep, essential part of her soul. So she can see now, right? But it's not like her vision just went back to normal. No, this is something entirely new, a completely different kind of sight. It's a permanent shift in how she experiences everything. It's about seeing with her soul.
And check this out, the angel only says one single sentence in the entire story, and it's basically the key to everything. It says, To see is not to use your eyes. It's to allow your soul to recognize what it already knew. So real sight isn't just about your eyeballs working. It's about letting your soul, your true self, finally acknowledge the truths it's known all along.
So let's put this side by side. It's a really powerful contrast, right? You have the blurry world on one hand, where everything was clouded by rules and fear. And then you have clear sight, where she can now see all the subtleties. She can see through lies, understand people's real motivations, and know what true love actually looks like.
Okay, but what does clear sight actually mean in the real world? Well, it means she can see past the masks people wear. She can spot falseness when it's pretending to be friendly. She can read the tiny, subtle things in people's gestures. And crucially, she can recognize real love, the kind that doesn't try to control you or demand things or charge you a price.
And so we've come full circle. Her eyes, physically, are exactly the same. Still that beautiful blue. But everything has changed. The shift wasn't on the surface. It was deep inside. The change wasn't in the lens. It was in the person looking through it. Now, she truly sees.
And that's where the story leaves us, with a pretty powerful question directed at, well, all of us. Because this is an allegory, right? It's a metaphor for all the fears and rules and other people's stories we let cover our own eyes. So the question it wants us to ask ourselves is, what invisible blindfold might you be ready to remove?